got it plugged into Shoreline right now. So basically the converter, because everything is off, the converter appears and charge it at about a rate of 10 amps. So it would take about 20 hours to charge these batteries up with that converter. But keep in mind that converter is not going to charge it all the way up to 100% because it's not designed for lithium batteries. I mean, it'll take a day to charge it up as much as it can, but it pretty much would take the entire day. It'd take about 18 hours to get it up to its 80%. So that means even if my generator is plugged in and I want to charge these batteries, that converter is not going to do it because I don't want to run my generator for 18 hours. So I am going to be purchasing a lithium charger as well. So here's what I've discovered after watching the converter charge the lithium batteries over a period of time. As the batteries get closer to what the converter thinks their maximum charge is, which is around 13.2 volts instead of 14.4 volts, it does less and less amperage of charge. So when it gets over the 13.2, it's really not putting anything into the battery, which I honestly figured that would be the case. And I would use the solar to top the battery off. I come in this morning and I look, and while the camper is plugged in outside and the solar was putting out 4.4 amps, the battery was only getting about 1 amp of current going into it. Now I had some lights and stuff on, but I'm thinking there still should be no draw off that battery, because shouldn't the converter be powering these lights? No, it doesn't. The converter powers the lights only if the battery is completely disconnected. But I discovered if the battery is connected and you have lights on, you are using the battery. So that means when you're plugged into Shoreline and you're thinking like what I thought, I've got my converter running, I'm plugged into Shoreline, my battery is connected, my battery's charging away, I'm running my lights, I'm living in my camper, my battery's charging away, and that's okay because even though the converter stops charging at the 13 point some volts, my solar will continue charging and top off the battery. That doesn't happen. The converter stops charging at 13 point some volts, and it also stops providing any DC current for your appliances in the camper because it thinks you've got other means to take care of it. So you are literally taking the power coming from your solar not to charge your batteries, but to run your appliances in your camper. So if you have DC appliances on and you're living in this camper, it's going to really slow down the rate of charge. I'm only getting, with a few lights on and my TV on, while plugged in the Shoreline, out of my 4 amps that's coming from the solar panel, I'm only getting about 1. Because the converter isn't taking care of any of the DC appliances anymore because it thinks it's done. If the battery is completely disconnected, the converter kicks in and takes care of the DC stuff. So, what does this mean? Do you have to also buy a charger? I really do think I'm going to be getting that, but there's another way you could do this. When your battery gets to the 13 some volts, where you've charged it up from shore power to its 13 some volts, and then you want your solar panel to take it from there, and you still want to live in your camper in the meantime and run your lights but get as much as you can from the solar, then you go out and you do the battery disconnect at the front of the camper, so the only thing the battery is connected to at that point in time is nothing but the solar. The battery will then get topped off the rest of the way by the solar, and your converter will take care of all your DC stuff inside the camper because it realizes there's nothing else in the loop to take care of it. There is no batteries, there is no solar, there's nothing else. The converter's going to have to do the work and provide the power for the DC appliances. So, I really hope that made sense, but long story short, here it is. Battleborn batteries are group 27. They will not fit on the front of the Geo Pro because it's group 24. you are going to have to put the batteries inside the basement. The cost of doing that is going to cost you about an extra $100 in wire and battery mounts and stuff like that. You do not need to get a charger, but you may decide you want to, because once your converter thinks your batteries are charged in the 13-volt area, your solar will be taking care of not only charging your batteries, but also any DC appliances in the trailer. So you're going to want to disconnect your battery once it's over the 13 volts so that the solar can be the only thing connected to it and the solar can top it off. Or make sure you're not using any DC appliances while you're in the camper. Only use AC stuff so that the shoreline takes care of all that. Or buy something like the Victron 15 amp charger and put that in the loop. I do think I'm done with this video. If I decide to add the Victron lithium charger to the system, I'll make a separate video for that.